Hello and welcome to Travel Beans. I'm Emma, behind the camera is Alex, and today we are in Whitby and we will be specifically looking at the influence that this place had on Bram Stoker for his world famous novel Dracula. Whitby is a seaside town in the northeast of England in Yorkshire. It is also a source of inspiration for Bram Stoker's world-famous novel of Dracula. Right now, I am sat on Bram Stoker's memorial bench, which was put here by Scarborough Council. The reason they chose this location for the bench is because when Stoker arrived here in Whitby, he was actually staying in one of the buildings behind it, and every day when they would clean his room, he would go on a walk. And this location in particular was one of the great sources of inspiration for his novel.
Bram Stoker is from Ireland, and whilst visiting Scotland on a cheeky little holiday, he was recommended to come to Whitby to help research his book that he was already writing. And he was like, alright then, I'll give Whitby a go. And I bet he's glad that he did. So the year is 1890, and our friend Bram rocks up into Whitby and he's like, what's good guys? And they're like, well, all of it. So at this point, Bram was already working, Bram, like we're mates. So at this point, Bram was already working on his now famous novel, but at the time it didn't look anything like what we know it as today, and the lead character was called Count Vampire, which is not the best name, but while he's in Whitby, he's got nothing else to do, so he goes down to the library and he comes across the name Dracula, which then replaced the terrible name of Count Vampire.
So Alex and I are not the hugest Dracula fans in the world. However, when we got here to Whitby and we started reading about Dracula and Bram Stoker and experiencing what it's like just walking around this town, you can really start to understand the inspiration behind the book. One thing that Alex and I found particularly interesting is that Bram Stoker used a lot of real history mixed with fiction to create the story. For example, 5 years before Bram Stoker's arrival to Whitby, there was actually a shipwreck on this very beach. The ship that crashed here was a Russian ship called Dmitri, and the ship that crashed in Bram Stoker's novel was the Demeter. In the novel, Dracula leaves Transylvania by ship and crashes in Whitby after killing the whole crew. As you walk along the seafront, there is a shop front with the Dracula Experience, award-winning experience, advertised out the front of it. And they've got a lot of stuff in the windows, it looks pretty legit. It's only £4, so I thought, why not give it a go? Al wasn't feeling it. You walk through, it literally takes 2 minutes maximum, and that's just because you've got to walk up some stairs and around, and then you're just like popped out in an alley around the back. So you're not even at the front to be able to complain about how rubbish it was. Bean rating, 0 out of 10. Don't bother with this, guys. There are so many better things to do here in Whitby.
Bram Stoker was very much like every other human in the world, and he would eat every day. Now that's a tedious link for you. Today I want to try something that I've never ever seen before. Now Yorkshire is famous for the Yorkshire pudding. They have taken the Yorkshire pudding and the English breakfast, and they have done something that I'm not sure should be done. Welcome to the Yorkshire English breakfast. So this is literally just a full English breakfast that has been put inside of a Yorkshire pudding. I have no idea where to start, how you even eat this. Can't even say that I'm that excited about it. In more of a curiosity way. Okay, this works. I mean, it's not going to be a national sensation. I'm in, I'm sold, I love it. Wash it down with a nice milky cup of tea. Emma's a Brit that doesn't have milk in her tea. Anyway, I'm going to shove this right down my throat, so I'm ready and refueled to teach you some more about Dracula.
No trip to Whitby would be complete without visiting the 199 steps. The first records of these steps existing were in the 13th century. However, it is likely that they were here before that. It is said that if you count each step on your way up and then again on your way down, you cannot get a matching number. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have better things to be doing than going around counting steps. So I'm just going to leave that up to the rest of them to do. These steps were referenced in the story when Dracula's ship crashed onto the beach. He fled the scene in dog form and ran up the steps.
When you get to the top of the steps, you're going to be met by a fantastic view of Whitby town. I highly recommend coming to the steps at sunset. Last night, me and Emma did it and there wasn't a soul around. In the day, it was bustling with very annoying tourists like ourselves. However, in the evening, there was no one around. We got to enjoy an unobstructed view of the sun setting over the bay, and I couldn't recommend it enough, especially for free. So there are two things that are on the top of the hill overlooking Whitby. The first one that you come across is the church, and you can definitely see how this inspired the novel. One, in the evening there are bats flying around the church. You've got gravestones everywhere. A little fun fact is to look for the Swales gravestone, which is actually the first victim of Dracula in Whitby in the book. You can definitely see the inspiration, as it's very creepy and eerie here. Due to the erosion thanks to the climate here, the tombstones have eroded and it really adds to the creepy vibe.
The last stop on our Dracula tour of Whitby is, of course, Whitby Abbey. Although in the story Dracula never actually comes to the Abbey, it is featured as a backdrop behind the churchyard. However, Mr. Stoker was known to come along to the Abbey to do a bit of writing, so I'm sure a lot of the inspiration for Dracula's castle came from here. Before you come through to the Abbey, you actually walk through a small museum, and a really cool thing that they have there is a first edition signed copy of the Dracula book, originally published in the 1900s.
There is no way you have watched this video and you've decided you don't want to come to Whitby, but you need somewhere to sleep, obviously. You're not going to sleep on the streets. This is where the YHA comes in, always with our UK trips. It is our accommodation of choice, and without doubt this is the place you need to be staying in Whitby. The reason being is it's right next to this. There's three structures on the top of the hill. You've got the church, you've got the Abbey, and you've got the YHA Whitby. It's set in an old mansion with probably the best views in Whitby. On the one side you're looking over the town, on the other side you got this bad boy. Most importantly though, it is very cheap.
We hope you have all enjoyed our Dracula tour of Whitby.
If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, smash it if you like, and while you're at it, smash the subscribe button.
And don't forget to leave us a comment. What's the spookiest place you've been to?
And not for the first time I've ever done this in an abbey, but definitely the first time I've done this in an abbey up north overlooking Whitby Bay. That's right, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to scream at you. Come on guys, turn up the headphones because beads out!